Now, stewed chicken is a very versatile dish that can go well with so many different things. Today, I'm coming at you guys with my stewed chicken recipe, and trust me when I tell you, this would be some of the most amazing chicken that you ever have in your life. So, you don't want to miss this recipe. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and season our meat, and I have here some chicken wings and some chicken legs, and I have some that I cut up and some that I left whole, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the excess fat off of my chicken. I love chicken drums when it comes to stewing and currying, my favorite part of the meat. So I'm just cutting off the excess skin and fat off of my meat, and then get rid of that. And then I'm going to rinse that off, and I'm going to go ahead and scrub my meat. So I'm going to rinse it off first, and as you can see, I have some lime there, and I'm going to scrub the meat with the lime. I want to make sure you clean your meat properly, and I'm just going to rinse that off several times to wash it with the lime. And the lime is going to cut all that freshness from the meat, and I'm also going to wash it another time with some vinegar. Now, washing it with the lime is just fine. You could stop there, but sometimes I'm a little extra, so I'm washing it again with vinegar. So I'm washing it again, rinsing, getting all the vinegar out. So now my meat is nice and clean. So it's time to season. So I have some shadow benny here. Also got some chives that I cut up. Some onion. Some garlic. Lots of garlic. As well about 4 or 5 pimento peppers that I cut up. Some ginger that I grated, and it's really important that you add ginger. To me, ginger makes the chicken taste so good, so make sure you add some ginger. And then a whole lot of thyme. I'm just gonna kind of remove the leaves from the sticks, and yeah, a lot of thyme, heavy on the thyme. Now you can stop there, but because I'm extra, I'm using some green seasoning by the brand Chief, and I'm just adding a whole heap of that in there. And then just go ahead and mix up everything together. And just like that, you guys look at the colors. We got the peppers, the chives, the shadow benny, the garlic, the onions, everything that you need. So I'm just going to cover it, and I'm going to put it in the fridge to marinate for a couple hours. Overnight would be perfect, or even a couple days ahead, which is what we normally do. But, you know, we doing everything for now today. So I'm just going to put it in the fridge for a couple hours to marinate. All right, so a couple hours have passed. People are chicken in the corner there. All right, so I'm going to add a whole pot spoon of brown sugar to a very hot pot. And I'm also going to add a couple tablespoons of oil. And what's going to happen, the sugar is going to soak up the oil. And we're just going to leave it there until everything starts to melt. The sugar is going to melt like so. And you want it to get nice and foamy. And I'm stirring it at this point because what I realize when I do that, it prevents it from getting bitter, and you do not want the sugar to burn and get bitter because you don't want bitter chicken, right? So just keep stirring. And we want that sugar to basically double in size. So as you can see, the sugar is frothing up, and this is what you want. Now you see that nice rich brown color. Just want to let it get a tad bit darker, but we do not want it to burn, right? And we do not want our chicken to be too dark. So at this point, you see I'm stirring and stirring and stirring. It's going to froth up even more. So right about this point is when you want to add your meat. You're not adding any water or anything, just add the meat and just give it a good stir. And I'm just going to cover it down and let it cook for like about 10-15 minutes. And as you can see, the chicken is bubbling nicely and it has released some juices. So I'm just going to give that a good stir before we add the other ingredients. Now, no lie, but I wish you guys could smell this kitchen right now. So now I'm just going to add some ketchup. You could add tomato paste as well, whichever one you have. Add some of that in there. And I know some people add soy sauce. Sometimes I do, rarely though. You could add some in there at this point as well. And I'm also going to add to chicken bouillon, and this is the chicken bouillon that I'm using. And you know, all of that seasoning from the bowl that we had the chicken in, put some water in there and pour all of that into the meat. You're not wasting any seasoning, and you want all of that flavor in the pot. And here I'm going to add some carrots that I cut up. I love carrots in stew chicken. As well as some pimento seeds or allspice, whichever one you want to call it. And I'm also going to add some cloves as well. And then I felt like I needed more thyme, so I'm adding more in there because I can. You guys know I love me some thyme. So I'm just going to cover that, let it boil down for a bit, and boom, you guys, look at our chicken. So I'm just going to give it a little taste and see if everything is good, if I need to adjust or add anything. And it only needed a tad bit of salt, so I'm going to add just a pinch. So our pot bubbling nicely, and I'm just going to let some of the water evaporate just a little bit. And about this point, it's basically good. I don't want it to be too dry because we're going to serve that chicken up with some provision, and I like a lot of gravy in my provisions. So this is about good for me. Look at that gravy, you guys. Nice and rich. And we use mostly natural ingredients in our chicken. You don't need all that packaged or artificial seasonings in here. The natural stuff, the shadow benny, the garlic, the ginger, all of that really flavored this pot. This is some of the best chicken you'll ever have in your life. So please try this. So let's go on ahead and get ready to make our provision, because you know we're not gonna eat the chicken like just like that. And I was feeling for something hearty today. I wanted some fig and dumpling and all of that. So I have some fig here. I'm gonna oil my hands, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the stem and the bottom out and add it in some water. And this is why you oil your hands, to prevent this slimy, sticky residue that comes out from the fig to stick all over your hands. All right. And I'm also adding some sweet potatoes as well. I love me some sweet potatoes. I hated them growing up, but now I love them. Funny enough. And we're gonna add some oil in the pot as well to prevent the same sticky residue from sticking around your pot, right? So let that come up to a boil. And then we're gonna make our dumplings. And for my dumplings, I'm just putting some salt in some flour and some water to bring the dough together, and that's just all I'm adding in my dumplings today. Sometimes I add sugar, sometimes I add cornmeal, but I'm just keeping it simple: flour, salt, water. So I'm just gonna whisk that together, pour my water, and knead it into a nice firm dough, because we want that dumpling nice and firm. All right, so there's that, and I already had a pot of water boiling, so I'm just going to go ahead and form my dumplings. And the shape really doesn't matter. I'm just taking pieces and rolling them out into some like logs, right? And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and check my potatoes, poke a knife in, and once the knife goes in smoothly, then your potatoes are cooked. My bananas or green fig split, so yeah, that's done. And after a few minutes, my dumplings started floating as well. So don't judge just the shape of my dumplings, okay? So now it's time to plate us up some food. I did let this cool though. I did let this cool, guys. It's not hot. And I'm just gonna plate me up some food, and then it's time to eat. Alright guys, here's the star of the show. Look at that chicken. Some extra gravy on there. And look guys, bon appetit. Some gravy off that plate. Bobby Fizz. That was some good food.